Hi, welcome to the Popular Podcast. My name is Philip. Let's go ahead and get into the mailbag. Shep L. writes, with the third season of The Grey Department finishing soon, are you hoping for a big emotional payoff or for things to just wrap up neatly? I'd be surprised if they can deliver both. Hi, Shep. I don't really expect anything to wrap up neatly if they want to keep any interest going into a recently confirmed fourth season. Having loose ends is sort of their MO, and I think the way this show is consumed and enjoyed is probably not after an emotional payoff. I know I've felt no real emotional connection with the Grey Department despite having fun watching the show. Every character and plot point has warped into an obstacle to be overcome or a problem to be solved. I think that analyzing something too closely like this might just inherently create emotional distance from it. The more time I spend thinking about the show, or picking apart its plot machinations, the less I care about its characters as people. They really just become more like mysterious sacks of flesh, and I just want to peek inside those sacks. Now it's time for a composting. We recently signed up for a composting service. We put our food scraps in a bucket to be picked up bi-weekly. Then we get another bucket. I think we get a delivery of finished compost a couple of times a year as part of the service too, so that we can try to keep a plant alive or something. I've never tried composting, so I am interested to see how it goes and how much we really collect every couple of weeks. So far there hasn't been a ton to put in the bucket. We've put in moldy raisin bread, zucchini scraps, raw onion, coffee grounds and filters, a peach pit, some eggshells, and banana peels. Earlier today, I went into our piping hot garage to open the bucket and get an impression of the odor profile that these scraps created. When I cracked open the lid, I at first only smelled garbage, but then all the different fragrances hit me. I smelled them all vying for prominence, then mingling to create something unique and new, but still familiar. The sweetness of the banana peels fought the sharpness of the wilted onions, and all the while the coffee made its presence known. I wonder what next week will smell like. Now let's take a test, a Rorschach test. For decades, the world of psychotherapy has used inkblot tests to help study subjects' mental processes and the potential for various psychological disorders. That's really great, and I'm glad that it's a tool that can be used to help people. Personally, I like looking at the pictures, so I've made a few that I'd like to take a look at with you. Normally, I think these inkblot images are created by squeezing an octopus over a piece of paper, but I don't have an octopus, so I've used a squeeze bottle of expired Dijon mustard. I've got 3 different mustard blot images here in front of me that I've just made. Now, taking in this first one, the very first thing I notice is the strong smell of organic Dijon mustard. The second thing I notice in this image are 2 turtles turned away from each other. And these aren't normal turtles. They look like they've been morphed in some way, and they've been trained in the martial arts, and they're not very old either, probably still in their adolescence. They look angry. No, disappointed. They're holding out an offering of warm baguettes. To whom? I don't know. These images can only tell us so much. Okay, the second image I'm looking at is most certainly a manta ray. No, I'm wrong. It's more of a stingray since it has an angry barb at the end of its tail. And it looks like it's carrying a secret. I'm worried that it needs to find someone to share this secret with soon. The burden is too much to bear on his own, or her own. The third one looks like 2 blobs connected in the middle. This connection signals a reluctant alliance between them both. I don't like this one as much. I think I squished the mustard paper together too hard. Okay, that's enough Rorschach test for this week. Dear Diary, I'm trying to lose some weight. I'd like to reduce my BMI a little, maybe enough to where it's just a BM. And I don't want to rush myself. I tend to do better with short, manageable goals, so I'll take my time so I don't feel too much pressure and immediately fail. In planning this out, there are some straightforward actions I'll begin to take on right away, like exercising more days of the week. I know I could do better on that front. I need to adjust my diet some as well. I did some research on blood type diets, which I'm not too sure about, but what I read was interesting. Apparently, as someone with blood type A negative, I need to eat less meat, wheat, and dairy, and more fresh vegetables. Apparently, I also need to be getting a lot more legumes. So I guess I'll try to work more legumes into my diet. Additionally, I've considered sucking helium daily to lighten my weight a little, but I'm worried that that will be cost prohibitive. The helium supply is a little tight these days. Well, guess I better go look up what legumes are. Wish me luck. Until next time, your friend Philip. Okay, before we wrap things up, it's time for household tips. Whether you've been composting for years, or you've just been thinking about getting into it, I'm sure you can imagine how rewarding it can be. Playing a more active role in the natural life cycle by turning waste into nutrients is a beautiful thing. But here's the tip. When you're adding materials to your composting container, try not to smell the inside of your composting bin. The olfactory will thank you for it. Okay, that'll do it for another pop filler. Thanks for listening, and remember, you'll be fine.